What is padding shorthand property? Well, in CSS, we can set various padding properties for selected HTML element. For example, padding top, padding right, padding bottom, and padding left properties, like 4 different CSS properties. Or other option will be to set all these properties with the padding shorthand property. For padding shorthand property, first value represents value that we set for padding top. Second value represents value that we set for padding right. Third value represents value that we set for padding bottom. And the fourth value represents value that we will set for padding left. Okay, let's see some examples. For this part, I have already prepared simple HTML document structure. Our HTML document has head and body, and inside of body we have simple text paragraph, and our text paragraph has ID attribute with the value p1. Inside of head we have title for this HTML document, and we have style block where we're going to define all styles for this HTML document. For now, we have p1 ID selector that will select our paragraph from our body, and we will apply 2 CSS properties, text align, and border CSS property. I saved this document like index.html on the desktop, so let's minimize our text editor. This is our index web page, so let's open it. And this is how our web page looks like for now. Okay, now inside of our p1 ID selector, let's define various padding properties. So let's define first padding top. Let's set 20 pixels. Let's define padding right. Let's define 40 pixels for this value. Then let's define padding bottom. 20 pixels. And padding left. For this one, we can set also 40 pixels. Okay, now let's save our changes. Let's go back in our web browser and let's refresh it. Now you can see that we have applied padding values on different sides of our paragraph. Let's analyze our web page. Let's click on our right click and inspect. On the right hand side you can see structure of our HTML document, so let's expand head, let's expand body, let's expand styles as well. So basically these are styles for our paragraph. So when we click on our paragraph, down here you can see all these styles that we have applied in it. Okay, so you can play around with these values. You can uncheck or check some of these values to see how your padding affects your text paragraph. You see? Okay. But basically this is how you can use various padding properties for your text paragraph. Okay. But how we can simplify all of these? We can use padding shorthand property. So first value for padding shorthand property is padding top, so we can simply copy value that we have defined for our padding top from here. Okay. Second value represents padding right, so we can do the same. We can copy this value from here. Third value represents padding bottom value. Okay, so we can copy it from here. And the fourth and the last value for our padding represents padding left property, so we can copy it from here. Okay, now we can remove all other padding CSS properties, and let's save our changes. Let's go back in our web browser and let's refresh it. So as you can see, nothing has been changed, but if you take a look here in styles, you can see that instead of 4, we are using just one line of code. Okay, basically you can do the same thing like you did for single padding CSS properties. You can click on any value and use arrows up and down to increase or decrease these values, just to see how these paddings will affect your text paragraph. This is, for example, padding bottom. You can see how it's changing, and this is padding left. Okay, so this is basically how you can use just one line of code to set your paddings. But if in case you have just 3 values instead of 4 inside of our padding shorthand property, first value in that case will represent top padding, the last value will represent bottom padding, and the middle value or second value will represent left and right paddings for your paragraph. So if we save this, and let's go back in our web browser, you can see that now we have applied different values with just 3 values inside of our padding. If you change first value, you can see how we are changing top padding. With less value, we can change our bottom padding. And with the second value, we can change this value, but our text is aligned in center. You can't see changes for this one. In case if we are using instead of 3 values, just 2 values, first value will represent top and bottom padding, and second value will represent left and right padding for your paragraph. So if we save this, let's go back in our web browser. When we refresh it, now if you take a first value and increase it, you can see how our paddings on the top and bottom are changing. Okay. Once again, for our second value, our text paragraph is aligned in center. We cannot see changes for this, but this is left and right. We have just one value for our padding shorthand property. This value will be applied on top, right, bottom, and the left side. So if we refresh our page, you can take this value and you can use also arrows up and down to see how padding will affect your text paragraph. Okay, so basically this is how you can use padding shorthand property, so feel free to play around with this.
Thanks for watching this tutorial, and I hope this was helpful to you. If you like our work, please become our Patreon or simply donate or PayPal. Please remember, even little from you means a lot for us. You can follow us on our Twitter and Instagram profiles, and please don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, because on our YouTube channel, knowledge is waiting for you.